These are your Unit 3B Day 1 notes. We are starting our Inequalities unit. Okay, so first thing we need to do before we get started is understand what an inequality is. And inequality shows the relationship between expressions that are not equal or might be equal, but in general, they are not equal. There are 4 symbols, and those 4 symbols are listed right here. Make sure that you have this in your notes, and then we are going to list the different words that represent each symbol so that when you hear them or read them while you're doing your work, it's easy to associate what words go with each symbol. So we look right here. This is the less than sign. When we are reading inequality symbols, we read from left to right the same way we do a book. So you can see that the little part is right here. So because it's little, you can think of this as reading it as less than because the small part comes first. So this one over here is less than or equal to. The reason it's less than or equal to is because it has this little line right here, and this line represents an equal sign. Now, again, like we're reading a book, we can see right here, we have the larger part of the inequality symbol, and we can, since we're gonna read this larger part first, we'll read this as greater than or equal to. Again, this little sign right here lets you know it's or equal to. And then last, we see this large part first, so we read that as greater than. Okay, well, those aren't the only keywords, so let's get the other ones written down. Okay, so for under less than, we have fewer than or smaller than. Make sure you pause and get that into your notes. All right, we have a few more for less than or equal to. We have maximum, at most, or no more than. If you would read one of these set of words, then you would know it goes with this symbol. So make sure you pause and get that information into your notes. This will be very, very helpful if you have these words recorded. Okay. And then we have greater than or equal to. We have the word minimum, at least, and no less than. Make sure you write this in your notes. Okay, and then our last symbol we have is greater than. And if you would read more than or larger than, you know that would be associated with this greater than symbol. All right, so looking below, a good way to remember which side of each symbol is greater. Like I said up here, this bigger part is the greater part. The littler part is the less than or smaller part. So that's why we would read this. We see the big part first. We'd read this as greater than. Okay? And you can also think of this as the symbol points to the smaller number. So this little teeny small part is always going to touch the smaller number. And this big open part will always touch the bigger number. Okay, so like we said with the inequalities is we're comparing two things that are not equal. This inequality symbol shows the relationship between two numbers. So if we look over here, here's a couple practices identifying inequalities, whether they're true or false. And right here, we're just working with numbers, keeping it simple. So if I look here, I'd read this as 3 is less than -2. Is 3 less than -2? No, that's false. Go here. -5 is less than -2. Is -5 less than -2? That is true. -$5 is less than -2. All right, and let's go to this next one. We read this as 5 is greater than -2. Remember, we see the big part first, so that helps us know that we read that as greater than. So 5 is greater than -2. Is that true? Yes, it is. Okay. So pause the video and try the next few on your own. Okay, hopefully you actually tried these and didn't just copy the work. We'll see. We read this, 13 is greater than or equal to -2. That's true. Is -15 less than or equal to -15? Well, they're equal to each other, so that's true. And last one is 5 less than or equal to 3. That is not true, so the answer is false. Now here, what you're going to do is you are going to fill in each of these blanks with any number that would make this statement true. So because we have here 3 is less than, you pick some number. What number is 3 less than? Well, any number that's bigger than 3. So I'm going to just simply put a 4 here. 3 is less than 4. So you're going to pause the video and you're going to fill in these blanks with numbers that would make this true. Okay, hopefully you tried these on your own. And for these ones, -5 is less than any number that is -4 or larger, less than or equal to. Here we go. 11 is greater than 10. And last, 12 is greater than or equal to 12. All right, so now we're getting down to this last part. In this last part, you are going to determine whether these statements are true or false by replacing the variable with its value. So you can see right here the value of all the variables are right here. So if I look right here, I have an x is less than 16. Well, what is x equal to? It's equal to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Is 10 less than 16? The answer for that is true. So I would go ahead and I would highlight true. All right, next, if we look down at these ones over here, you have to plug in the variable into the inequality. So for example, this one is 7 minus y. Well, we can see y is equal to -6. So I would go ahead and I would write this as 7 minus -6 is less than or equal to 1. What's 7 minus -6? Well, when we add it, or when we subtract a negative, we know we're actually adding. So this would be 7 plus 6 is less than or equal to 1, and 7 plus 6 is 13. So we have 13 is less than or equal to 1. Is 13 less than or equal to 1? Nope. So we know that this would be false. Okay? And you guys, we got this right here just real quick. This -6 came from right over here. All right, so what your job is right now is you are going to go ahead, you are going to pause the video, and you are going to plug in the variable in the place where it goes and determine whether the answer is true or false. Okay, so hopefully you tried these on your own and you did them accurately. If not, determine what your mistake is. So pause the video and check out your answers, and then you're done.